We are in the midst of two very wintry days out there. This is a look at the Country Club Plaza, which is now seeing some sunshine, but some folks over there and elsewhere around the metro did find some snow flurries so far this morning. Now, the more impactful snow is going to arrive on your Monday. That will be our first measurable snow of the season. Any of those snow flurries that you maybe found in and around your neighborhood earlier this morning have not accumulated and therefore really pose no impact, but are a testament to the fact that today is the coldest day of the season so far. If you've stepped outside today, you already know that we do have a first warn in place for those frigid temperatures. But first, I really want to talk about Monday. It's a first warn weather day that has been upgraded from a first warn that was in place previously. We've been watching Monday for days now as we've been seeing signals for the chance for some snow showers, and those do look to become even more likely as we get closer and closer. So let's break down why we've upgraded Monday to a first warn weather day and what you need to know as you get done with your holiday weekend and get ready to go back to work and school tomorrow. So first of all, this first warn weather day will be in place from 12 p.m. to 8 p.m. tomorrow, but we could have some snow flurries and some light snow showers even before then. So some of us around the Monday morning commute may start to find some snowflakes falling from the sky and accumulations up to about an inch before 12 o'clock rolls around. But overall, the greater impacts will be as those snow showers ramp up and continue through the afternoon and evening, therefore trying to leave us with accumulating snow up to a couple of inches. Here's a look at the highest, newest resolution data. Let me go back a step or two, where you can see even some snow flurries trying to get their way started early Monday morning, but that snow shower chance ramps up through the late morning into the early afternoon before we then clear it out pretty quickly into the evening time. But even if it's not actively snowing just after sunset, those effects will still linger, and those are ones that we will be tracking with you here all day long. So let's talk about what else is going on here. And the National Weather Service has gone ahead and already issued a winter weather advisory. That's new for you this morning. That will be in place from 5 a.m. to 6 p.m. on your Monday, as snow accumulations of 1 to 3 inches are what they're forecasting and what we're finding here in-house as well. Now, what you will notice, though, probably, is that that winter weather advisory in that purpley blue color only extends just to the east of I-35, but they've already mentioned that they will likely extend this further to encapsulate more of our viewing area, because more than just those folks are forecasted to find some snow accumulations within that range. So this is what we're looking like for hour by hour breakdown and what you can expect from your Monday and how that looks to play out. As I already mentioned, we are going to have a slower start to those snow showers. They won't seemingly come out of nowhere, but flurries will eventually turn into light snow showers through the morning. So much so that you may notice some of those already falling as you get on the road for that morning commute or are dropping the kids off at school or the bus stop. Then by the time we approach 12 p.m., that's of course when that snow potential will ramp up 70% then 80% in the early to mid afternoon. That's going to be the peak. That's when the most snow does look to fall and accumulate before we taper back those snow chances, and we overall just bring that activity to a halt into the evening hours. Whoops. There we go. Let's get back to this graphic. You can see in the evening how we already get down to about 30 to 20% of just some lingering flurries and snowflakes out there, but that first warn does stay in place because the effects and the impacts of this do look to linger, and those impacts themselves are why we've upgraded Monday from a first warn to a first warn weather day. Let's see what the models are saying in terms of how much snow we could get tomorrow from start to finish. So slow start, as I mentioned, potential snowfall staying very low, maybe a couple 10's of an inch for some of us up to the morning commute. Here's a look closer to 9 a.m. as those snowfall accumulations do begin, but in and around the metro, they will be on the lower end. So that's why we're saying your morning commute may have some impacts out there. You may already see snow falling, but in general, it isn't going to be like what we'll find in the evening commute. You can see by about lunchtime, 12 o'clock, those snow chances ramped up, as I mentioned, but then also you can start to see those accumulations really filling in on the map. This is when we then kick off the afternoon with higher snow potential. We bring in that first warm weather day, and then we could try to accumulate upwards of 2 inches in the Kansas City metro by the time the system slows down and eventually goes out to the east. In general, a good range that we're looking at with snowfall accumulation is about 1 to 3 inches, but spots could find some isolated totals higher than that. And in general, the entire area is under our 1 out of 4 on the winter storm impact scale. So that's on the lower end, of course, but we are still tracking those impacts from our northern border to our southernmost viewing areas for light snow and accumulations possible from about 1 inch to 2 inches. That looks to be on the lower end, but they could still be dealing with wet roads and some slick spots out there as they navigate their Monday. So we're all likely to deal with some sort of impact from this system that is pushing through. That is why we are all included in that 1 out of 4 lower impact. But as we look closer to the Kansas City metro and just to the north and south of the I-70 corridor, you can see that potential and that impact starts to ramp up. Of course, that's where a lot of morning commutes are, evening commutes are too, and where potentially the strongest or heaviest of the banding of the snow tries to set up. As of right now, that is what our models are pointing to. So what differentiates that? What is a 2 on the winter storm impact scale, and what does that mean this time around? Well, that's more light to moderate snow with accumulations looking to be slightly higher, 2 to 3 inches, and as I mentioned, isolated spots slightly higher than that. We could find isolated totals right around 4 inches, and then roads still dealing with issues out there, still wet, could still be slushy. We could be dealing with a bit of snowpack out there, and then areas of black ice could be a concern with our temperatures plummeting Monday night into Tuesday morning, and us still dealing with some lingering moisture out there on the roads. So you'll need to be even cautious out on the roads after that snow is not actively falling anymore. So as we get to late Monday night and early Tuesday morning, because Tuesday morning looks to be even colder than how we started this morning and how we'll start our Monday morning with a low right around 15 degrees. In general, we really like to show you ranges of what we could find from this snowfall because we all know what winter systems can be like. So this is on the higher end. This is what our model that is getting the most excited about the snow is looking like, which brings close to 4 inches in the Kansas City metro, but then slightly lower totals to the south and slightly higher totals to the north. Now on the flip side, our model that isn't quite buying the snow potential quite as much is trying to stay closer to 1.5 inches of snow in the Kansas City metro and higher totals mostly to the south of the metro and I-70. So in general, those are kind of the ranges and the highest end and the lowest end scenario per se about what we're looking at with this system. But for the Kansas City metro itself, we're starting to lock in on this forecast, and that brings flurries to light snow in the morning, light to moderate snow in the afternoon, and then just lingering flurries, but also lingering impacts into the evening. And of course, that does include the evening commute. So both commutes are at play here, as you may already start to find some snow falling on your Monday morning. But once this event is said and done, we are looking about 1 to 3 inches of accumulation possible. That is looking to be the most likely scenario at this time. And as I mentioned, since Tuesday morning does cool off significantly, icy streets could be a problem as we refreeze at night and honestly just stay well below freezing to go into the rest of our work week. Now, that's Monday. That's why we have that first warm weather day in place. But as I said just a few minutes ago, Monday also has a or rather Sunday, also has a first warn in place. So that's a step below Monday's first warn weather day in terms of impact. But what we're tracking today is, rather than snow, below freezing temperatures. And we've already dealt with feels like temperatures in the single digits up to the teens so far. We'll continue to have that as an issue through the next several hours throughout the afternoon as well. We're barely making our way through the 20s today, so we'll cap out in about the mid to upper 20s as that afternoon high. And then going into your Monday morning, here's that forecast low. Security Bank 7-day forecast shows you that at 19 degrees. So we are staying below freezing all around the clock today, which then tees us up for that impactful first warn weather day on your Monday as we bring snow potential and snow showers to the Kansas City metro and the majority of our viewing area. We also stay even colder than today, if you can believe it, 26 degrees for that high on your Monday. Then we bring back the sunshine. We'll try and start to melt any snow that we do still have on the ground on your Tuesday morning. And we slightly warm back up just above freezing briefly on Tuesday and Wednesday afternoons. Again, continue to stay tuned in with us. Thank you for continuing to check in as we iron out even more details with this forecast. Know that as you hit the road tomorrow morning, even if you aren't seeing much snow accumulation to start your day, that potential and that accumulation likelihood does ramp up through the afternoon and evening. So just be very safe and cautious on the roads out there.